Hey everyone, and welcome back. And today we're tackling a classic, absolute must-know problem for any production, operations, or supply chain management course. We're going to figure out how to absolutely minimize your distribution costs. Whether you're studying for an upcoming exam or you're actually out there running a real-world logistics network, this is a tool you absolutely need in your toolkit. All right, let's dive right into this tutorial and learn how it's done.
So, today's ultimate goal? We're going to master finding the absolute best location for a central warehouse. Think about it for a second. If you have multiple different destinations you need to ship products to, every single extra mile your trucks drive costs you fuel, time, and money. But by pinpointing the perfect central hub, you can drastically reduce travel time and shipping costs across your entire network. It's honestly a game changer for supply chain efficiency.
Here is our quick game plan for this explainer. First, the facility location problem. Second, the center of gravity concept. Third, visualizing the map. Fourth, our step-by-step calculations. And fifth, the optimal warehouse location.
Okay, let's kick things off with sections 1 and 2, the facility location problem and the center of gravity concept.
So what exactly is the center of gravity method? Well, it's a mathematical approach we use to determine the exact location of a facility so that it minimizes overall shipping costs or travel time to various destinations. In the real world, companies use this constantly for location planning when setting up distribution centers. Like if you're building a brand new hub to serve a regional cluster of retail stores, this is the exact tool you'd use to decide where to break ground. Now, like any good model in supply chain management, we do have a few core assumptions to make it work. First up, we assume that distribution cost is a linear function of both the distance traveled and the quantity shipped. What that means is if you ship twice as much or drive twice as far, your cost exactly doubles. Simple, right? Second, we assume the quantity to be shipped to each destination is fixed and we know it in advance. And finally, the math we're going to do relies on a weighted average. We'll be weighting our destination locations based on those shipping quantities or, in some scenarios, the number of truck trips required.
Moving right along to section 3, visualizing the map.
All right, picture this. We've got 4 destination points spread out across a region. Let's just call them D1, D2, D3, and D4. I want you to imagine you're the supply chain manager and you have to pick a spot for a new central hub just by looking at this geography. You'd probably just guess somewhere near the middle, right? But wait, what if D1 orders 10 times more product than D4? Guessing by eye alone just isn't going to cut it anymore. We need real mathematical precision.
To solve this properly, we need to turn geography into geometry. And we do that by simply overlaying a basic X and Y coordinate system right onto our map. Now, instead of just being random points out on a landscape, every single destination has an exact, measurable, relative location. For example, D1 sits at coordinates 2, 2. Way over there, D4 is at 8, 5, and so on. Setting up this simple grid is the literal foundation of our entire analysis.
Now for the fun part. Section 4, step-by-step calculations. Let's get into the math. Okay, here is our first equation. This formula calculates x bar, which is really just the x-coordinate for our optimal new warehouse. And hey, please don't let those big sigma symbols intimidate you. All this formula is telling us to do is take the x-coordinate of each destination, multiply it by the volume or quantity shipped to that specific location, add all those resulting products together, and then divide by the total volume shipped everywhere. It's just a classic weighted average.
And naturally, we need a y-coordinate as well, which brings us to y bar. The logical structure here is exactly the same as the last one. The only difference, instead of x-coordinates, we substitute in the y-coordinates of our destinations. We multiply each y by its corresponding quantity, sum them all up, and divide by that exact same total weekly quantity. Let's do a super quick breakdown of those variables just so everyone is completely comfortable with the notation before we start crunching the numbers. Q sub I simply represents the quantity to be shipped to a specific destination, which we denote with the letter I. Little x sub I is the x-coordinate for that exact same destination, and little y sub I is its y-coordinate. If you just keep this key in mind, the formulas become incredibly straightforward.
All right, here is the exact data set we're going to use for our example today. We have our 4 destinations, their exact x and y coordinates, pulled right from our grid, and their specific weekly quantities. Notice the massive differences in these volumes. Destination 2 requires 900 units every single week. Meanwhile, Destination 4, way out on the right side of the map, only needs 100. Down at the bottom, you'll see our total weekly shipping volume comes out to an even 2,000 units. To make this calculation completely foolproof for your exams or real-world projects, let's scaffold the whole thing into a clear 3-step checklist.
Step 1, multiply each destination's coordinate, doing x and y separately, by its weekly quantity. Step 2, sum all of those products together for the x-axis and do the exact same thing for the y-axis. Step 3, divide those two final sums by the total weekly quantity. If you follow these 3 steps, you literally cannot get it wrong.
Let's see this build out in practice. For x bar at the top, we multiply D1's x-coordinate, which is 2, by its quantity of 800. Then we add D2's x of 3 times its 900, and so on. That sum product across the numerator comes out to exactly 6,100. We divide that by our total volume of 2,000, which gives us 3.05. We'll just round that to 3 for simplicity. For y bar below, we do the exact same process but with the y coordinates. The sum product is 7,400. Divide that by 2,000, and we get precisely 3.7.
And finally, Section 5, the optimal warehouse location.
So, based on all those weighted average calculations, the absolute optimal coordinates for the center of gravity, our brand new central warehouse are approximately 3 on the x-axis and 3.7 on the y-axis.
Let's go ahead and drop that point right back onto our original grid. Look at where those crosshairs meet at 3 and 3.7. Notice how the center of gravity isn't actually in the exact geographical middle of our 4 points. It's pulled way over to the left. Why? Well, because Destination 1 and Destination 2 are ordering 1,700 of our 2,000 weekly units. The math automatically balances those heavy, high-volume shipments against the longer distances of our lower-volume destinations, D3 and D4.
Before we wrap up, I've got a question to leave you with. What happens to our center of gravity if Destination 4, way out east, suddenly doubles its weekly order from 100 to 200 units? How would that extra weight dynamically pull our optimal warehouse location? I highly encourage you to solve this new scenario and drop your calculated coordinates in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Keep practicing, keep optimizing, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.